Okay, Autumn, Frosty is in the house. This one is for you. Hence the snowman hint. All right, so you have a test tomorrow. So we're going to go over what you need to study tonight for the test. On my homepage, as I've pointed out several times now, you have your test blueprint Math 1 systems of equations. So if you just hit view, it'll show you what will be on the test and how many of each problem. So the first one says students can define systems of equations. We went over that in Monday night's video. So if you don't remember what the definition is, or you can't think of one of your own, go back to Monday night's video. 2 says students can plug in a point to determine if it is a solution. You can study this by going back to your 2.3. 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all examples of what you will see on your test tomorrow. You'll be given actually 4 choices instead of 3 to figure out what is the solution for the systems of equations. And hopefully you know by now you have to plug in your x and your y, and it has to work out for each one. So if I plug in 1 for x here, that gives me 2 times 1 plus 4, which is 6, and y is 6. Now if I plug 1 in for here and 6 in for here, I have 1 plus 6 equals 7, and this says -5. So we know that doesn't work. So you have to go through and plug in your x and y so that the x value and the y value will work out for both equations. Okay. Also, you did some practice with this on U1. So if you've not mastered U1, tonight you need to do 4 problems on U1 to study for your test tomorrow. So if U1 is not mastered on IXL, you must complete 4 problems on U1. Okay? So that's one part. The second part says students can identify the 3 types of systems of equations: no solution, one solution, all real numbers, and students can identify the systems as consistent, inconsistent, or dependent. Now we took notes on this in class yesterday, and it looks like this. If you don't have these notes, you can pause it and write it down. If lines intersect, they have one solution. The slope in the equation will be different, and this is called a consistent system of equation. Some people call it independent, we're calling it consistent. If you have parallel lines, that is no solution. It doesn't share any points. You will notice that it has the same slope, different y-intercepts, and is called inconsistent. Okay? And the last one, and I know my face is covering up some of this, so I will try to move it out of the way a little bit. When you have 2 lines on top of each other, therefore they're the same line. Whoops. So because they share everything from infinity, those are infinite solutions, or we can call it all real numbers. They should have the same slope, the same y-intercept, and they're called dependent systems. Some people call it inconsistent dependent, but we're just going to call it dependent. So if you don't have your notes on those 3 types, you might want to take a minute and pause the video and write it down. Make sure you know it. Okay, so that takes care of these 3 and 4 learning targets. 5 says a student can graph 2 lines and determine the solutions in the word problem. Okay, so that is graphing 2 lines on your calculator or on a piece of paper and finding the solution. Okay. Students can use substitution method to solve systems of equations. We worked on this in class today, but if you go back to your class page, go back to last week. It was, hold on. If you go to, this is this week, if you go to last week on Wednesday night's video, that was your video on substitution. If you need to review how to do that, you will have a very simple one similar to this on your test. So if you can do this one and get the x and the y, you'll be good. We worked on this a bit in class today, so hopefully you feel confident in that. The last one is the students can describe the break-even point. Again, I passed back to you your problems that look like this. So you're going to get a situation like this. You need to come up with your 2 equations. You need to be able to graph them and know that where they intersect is their break-even point. and you need to be able to write a sentence like we did in class. The break-even point is between 13 and 14 boxes of fruit, okay? So you need to be able to write that part. The Spanish Club must sell more than 13 boxes to make a profit, okay? But it's particularly this first sentence, and you need to include the boxes of fruit and the break-even point in your sentence. So you should go back and look at these types of problems again, okay? And then U5, if you've not mastered U5, do 4 of these. You need to be able to do this part where you look at the slope and the y-intercept and determine if it's 1, none, or infinite. Okay, so once again, if you've not mastered U1, you need to do 4 here, and if you've not mastered U5, you need to do 4 here. If you are absent on Monday on the field trip, you need to do U7. You need to do 10 on U7, okay? So that's what's due tomorrow. And that's it. And you'll do great on the test on Wednesday, okay? So make sure you do your practicing. If you hadn't done it already, look through those study items that I talked about, and then hopefully we'll all get A's on Wednesday. Not hopefully, you will. If you put in the time, you will get it. Good night.